What's going on, guys? Beard and the Hair here. Today I want to talk about From Software. As you can tell from the title, it's going to be a video about Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. But From Software has made some of the hardest games, depending on your playstyle and how you actually play them. Starting with Demon's Souls, a cult classic, I would call, that brought a new kind of genre to gaming. This brought in the Souls series, or the Soulsborne, for gaming, and some people even call other games Souls types. This is the original, the OG. Iterating on that concept, From Software came out with Dark Souls in 2009. I personally feel like this was their coming out party, a beautifully realized world that you can't help but just stop and take it all in. An entry to a series that presently could be the best out of all of the entire trilogy. Bosses that are captivating and cinematic, a difficulty that really makes you dig deep to be on that road to victory. Showing a world that is so desolate, seeing yourself and others going crazy and becoming hollow really gives you an idea of how desperate everyone is in this world. Giving the player the choice to continue on this path of hollowing or linking the fire for the new age. Dark Souls 2 was the follow-up in 2014, but it wasn't showing the same love as the first one critically. I feel like this game gets a little shafted compared to the previous one. Even in the trilogy, personally, I feel like it's a little forgettable and the bottom of my list for my favorite From Software games. Dark Souls 3 feels like the perfect swan song to this series, releasing in 2016. I put in over 400 hours to get this platinum trophy on the PlayStation. And just trying different builds, different weapons, it kept on bringing me back to this game. And the loop and the boss fights are just so cinematic. They are so well done that I kept on chomping at the bit for more. So many nods of coming back to Anor Londo was an amazing experience again. Seeing how it's changed, fighting a boss in that same area as Ornstein Smo brought back so many memories and so many nightmares. Then comes Bloodborne in 2015, a PS4 exclusive. This is a special game, a game that we might not ever get a sequel to. The aggressive combat and the trick weapons really gave the From Software formula a new twist. Getting HP back from hits, the blood vial system breathed fresh air into this genre. I could gush about this game all day, really. But what we're really here for is Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, released in March 2019. It's a Souls game that you play as a shinobi. I just finished this game a little while ago and I was addicted. And I had to tell everyone why this might be FromSoft's best game that they've developed. I just wanted to give a heads up that there is a spoiler alert here. I will be spoiling parts of the story, the boss fights, and some tidbits about the lore in Sekiro. So I just wanted to warn you guys before you guys keep going in this video. If you haven't played the game yet and don't want to be spoiled, play the game, come back, and watch the video. Aggression is key in this game. It's like the developers took the combat from Bloodborne and said, how can we make this more aggressive? And it shows. You want to be on your enemy at all times. Posture is a mechanic they added to this game that really brings it all together in conjunction with the aggression. Pulling off the perfect parries and doing vitality damage grows this bar at the top of the screen. When it gets to max, you can do a death blow, taking a full bar of vitality down. This also can happen to you, so parrying is very key. It almost becomes like a rhythm game with your opponent. This combat finally clicked for me, fighting Genichiro. I was trying to play this game like every other Souls game, dodging and trying not to get hit. And it wasn't working well. I was being punished, and I was so frustrated that I was being punished playing this way. He forced me to play the way Sekiro was meant to be played. Parry, strike, counter, rinse and repeat. Just like other Souls games, healing gourds are taking the place for Estus flasks. They get replenished resting at idols. As you beat some of the bosses, or by exploring, you'll find gourd seeds that give you the ability to use them more. Another addition to this game is your prosthetic arm. Adding different gadgets to this helps with boss fights and harder enemies, varying from firecrackers to spook animal types to axes to do major posture damage on enemies. It adds another layer to the combat in Sekiro and is a welcome addition. Let's talk about the Die Twice mechanic, aka the resurrection. This is a new mechanic that I thought would break the game when I first saw it in trailers, but man, was I wrong. It throws another wrinkle into the fights, giving you a chance to get right back in there depending on if the boss is high on posture or low on vitality. Under most circumstances, you can only raise once in a fight, but having that option helps the player learn a fight, or even seeing the boss is almost dead, finish them off sure is nice. I know I'm gushing about this game a lot, but there are some things that aren't great about Sekiro. This game does not allow for different builds or customizations, since you have to use the one weapon you start with, which in tune does not give much for replayability. Also, there's a lot of reskins of mini-bosses, which kind of is disappointing. I wish there was a little bit more variety. Let's talk lore. When it comes to From Software games and lore, they're really notorious about how you find it. You really gotta dig deep into item descriptions and NPC dialogue. The biggest thing about lore in Sekiro is that it deviates from this formula a lot. Sekiro throws lore at you in droves with cutscenes. I've never experienced the amount of cutscenes in a From Software game until I played Sekiro. Honestly, it's kind of refreshing. It tells a beautiful story about a shinobi and his master who has the blood of the dragon heritage, aka being able to resurrect. You embark on a quest to get the mortal blade to sever this tie of immortality so no one can use it. Watching Ganishiro and your own father being seduced by this power is very telling on how important it is to sever this tie. For all the time I've dumped playing a From Software game, the bosses are always the main aspect that stands out. There is no exception when it comes to Sekiro. Sekiro is split up into main bosses and sub-bosses. Sub-bosses drop prayer beads, usually to raise your vitality and decrease posture buildup. These mini-bosses help you learn the game and how Sekiro should be played. After you learn these techniques, use them on the main bosses. They test you. Some of the bosses took me over 2 hours to beat. They really make you work for that victory. Main bosses drop memories, which have lore tidbits and give you a little bit of an attack power boost. Many channels have shown their favorite bosses, so I thought, why not do mine? Coming in at number 3 is the Demon of Hatred. This guy right here. Everything you've learned in Sekiro, all the practice that you've done with the mini bosses and the grueling main bosses, throw it out the window. This is the closest you're gonna get to a Bloodborne boss. He is tough. Fighting him felt like I was coming home, you know? If you play Bloodborne, then you kind of know what I'm getting at. The rush you get from dodging his attacks builds your confidence and feels like he can be beatable. Then he does that one-hit charge and you just want to rage at the world. Number 2 is the Owl Shinobi. Lots of people won't actually see this boss because you have to do some weird and messed up random steps in the game to get the ability to even come back to the Harada state the second time. This guy does not mess around. He has everything a shinobi has and the combos that can one-shot you. Everything you've learned is going to be tested. If you get him to his second phase, he then has an eagle that flies around the arena and he just throws it at you in a blaze of fiery glory. And he also uses it to teleport around the arena. Coming in at number 1 is Ishin the Sword Saint. This is an epic fight on an epic field with epic music. He is relentless in his attacks, sometimes making it hard to even step back and heal. Going through the different phases of the boss will test you in everything you've learned. Parrying, dodging, reflecting, lightning, all of it has to be used. He gets a spear in his second phase, he gets a gun also in that phase. It is the real deal. When you best him finally, pat yourself on the back. You just killed the hardest boss in Sekiro and maybe one of the hardest bosses in From Software history. Sekiro has a steep learning curve, especially if you're coming from previous From Software games. Once it does click, it's addictive. Lore is placed on a silver platter for you, which is kind of a refreshing change in my opinion. If you want ancillary tidbits of lore, reading description on items and talking to NPCs also gives that to you. I finished this game 5 times, and once with the Demon Bell on, which makes the game much harder. I got every ending to the game, and I'm truly sad that this game probably won't get any DLCs since From Software is working on Elden Ring now. I can safely say that Sekiro is my second favorite From Software game. They brought a new twist to their already amazing combat style. Their let's try this boss one more time approach is on full force here. This world is worth your time. Once it clicks, I'm telling you guys, you're going to agree with me. Thank you for watching my review for Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. If you enjoyed that video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to know when I upload a video, don't forget to click on the bell and get notified when I do post. I try to post a weekly video or at least 2 videos per week. One usually is a Let's Play and the other one is a review. I stream about 5 to 6 days a week over at twitch.tv/BeardandtheHair, playing various different games and mostly the Let's Plays that you're going to be seeing on the channel. I'm still new at this whole reviewing thing, so let me know what you guys all think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys.